of business, I want to listen to what Chris Paul has to say. All right, we haven't listened to Chris Paul in a minute. When's the last time we listened to him? Actually, when's the last time we did a press conference? It's been a long time since we've done a press conference. So let's listen to Chris Paul. See if he got any wisdom for us. Chris, now I will say this. All right, what's this? Championship? Marvel Rivals? That's getting saved to my watch later, guys. Hoo-hoo. All right. Marvel Rivals is so much fun. Anyways, I'm a Cap main, by the way. Shout out to my Cap mains out there. I'm really good at Cap, like really, really good. I'm not one of those like lame Caps that go 40% accuracy at the end of games. No. I don't do none of that. Okay, Chris Paul. Let's listen to what he has to say. He had a Chris Paul-ism, which I didn't really like, down in the stretch in which he was looking for a foul, didn't get it because Steph Castle's great and he kept his head in the game. He ended up getting that possession, passed it over to Julian Champagnie for a dunk. It was beautiful, and it was down the stretch. Crunch time, that is very important. But Chris Paul, during that play, he was complaining to the refs the entire time. Like, he turned his back while the play is happening, he turned his back and cried to the refs. I did not like that. I do not like that. Made me mad. I do not like that. Clans still think that women can play in the NBA after that one chick got bodied by a high schooler. Because one chick got bodied by. Okay, I'm not. That's bait. That's rage bait. That's rage bait. All right, let's listen. You guys are not going to sidetrack me. Okay, You are not going to sidetrack me.
There at the end, you guys, Harrison's hook. What were you thinking at that point?
Mr. Fantastic Main here. I'm excited for his buffs. Congratulations.
Great play we drew up. You know what I mean? I give Harrison that shot any night. You know what I mean? You probably make it 9 out of 10 times, but
I thought that. I think I said this in the other segment. I thought it was like an 80% shot of him hitting that. So
more happy about the fight we showed.
Trailing most of the game and for the team to continue to fight back. I mean, I know Pop used to always talk about, you can always tell sort of the state of a team by how they play when the cards are down. Can you talk about just this team's ability to continue to fight?
Yeah, that's team got 62 wins over there. We played them pretty well maybe a week and a half ago. At any point we could have let go of the rope, but, we kept fighting and got a few games left to keep trying to build and keep learning and build up confidence.
I think Steph's first triple-double has got to be just around the corner.
What he had tonight?
22, 9, and 10.
Just needed that one.
Second game in a row, he's almost had a triple-double.
Oh, yeah.
I'm maining Emma Frost. This is super random. I'm maining her, bro. She seems so good. I'm maining her. My cousin, he plays Psylocke, so that's like perfect. So I'm gonna main her. He also mains Bucky, and now my Cap can, team up perfectly with them.
Yeah, he got a long career. You know what I mean? He's gonna get it enough time.
When you see a game like this, the fight and everything, does it kind of make you feel good about your decision to come here?
That's a good way to phrase that. So if you guys don't know, it's actually, I don't know if this is why the reporter asked this, but it's been going around Twitter, like the idea that maybe he's not happy with his decision to come to San Antonio after all of these like crazy injuries or whatnot. I think a lot of people have been saying that for Fox and Chris Paul. So it's good for him to at least bring that up. But I don't know if it's based off of what he's heard. But yeah, Spurs. I'm in tune with Spurs media, or not Spurs media, Spurs fandom, right?
I always feel good about my decision to come here. I think at this point, especially playing in close games like this, you try to figure out the last 4 minutes down the stretch how to play, how you try to get to the line and stuff, which if you're struggling to score, most teams, if you watched the game last night, Lakers, Warriors, you find ways to get to the line. You get creative and all this stuff. So I tried to do the raise up, shooting a shot, and no foul. The rest said we did the sweep through. I ain't did the sweep through the whole season because they changed the rule, right? Remember I used to do that all the time? I ain't did it one time because he changed the rules. So the hardest part is watching the game and knowing the game, and then you get out there and it's, yeah.
Okay, so that's the exact play that I was talking about. Can you wait till after the play to, I mean, I know you got to react, but he turned, I'm telling you guys, if you don't remember, in the fourth quarter, he turned his entire back to the play. We had a play going on. He turned his entire back and talked to the ref. It was crazy. He's right, but like, come on. Tim Duncan at 40 over this clown. Hey, hold on. Chris Paul is one of ours, okay? We can't. He's one of ours. We can critique, but we got to love him for now. For now, okay? When he's gone, we can start doing that. Tim Duncan is awesome, but let's not call him a clown, all right? Let's not call him out of his name right now.
It's crazy.
Well, let me ask you this. When you get a call that was clearly wrong, seems like you just go down the next time and just say, well, the hell with it. I'm just going to make a play regardless of referees, defenders, whatever.
Oh, wait. Are they criticizing him? Hold on. Wait. It's a good way of, I think Chris Paul, he understands what's being asked. Hold on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hold on.
Well, let me ask you this. When you get a call that was clearly wrong, seems like you just go down the next time and just say, well, the hell with it. I'm just going to make a play regardless of referees, defenders, whatever.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yeah, try to. You get frustrated at some of the things, and of course you got to play on. Always got to play.
It was in the middle. He did play on, but it was in the middle of that play where it was like, bro.
Through, but the game is the game, and like I said, you watch enough NBA games, right? When guys come through the lane now and they stick their arms out and the refs call foul, on the competition committee they say that the sweep through is not a foul anymore because it's not a natural basketball move, right? When we're all learning to play the game of basketball, I was never taught to put my arms out when I shoot a layup. You usually rock the ball back, you know what I mean? But it's just trying to adjust to the differences in what they're going to call on that given night.
With Wemby out and Fox out.
Sorry if you guys can hear that rain. Like I said, it's flash flood warning in my area, and it's raining so hard right now.
Has this been a good stretch for Devin to kind of assert himself and be the lead scorer?
Yeah, it is, but what I'm hoping for, this team going forward is, these games are all good and well, but this isn't sort of the real NBA. Seriously, like.
Is he saying that? I agree. Okay, because we saw. Okay, so I think I know what he's going to explain it, but I think I know what he's saying. All right, let's try to predict. So last season, the Spurs really got it going at the end of the season, and everyone got super excited. And I thought as well, like, oh, we looked really good at the end of the season. But teams are starting to wrap up. They're tired at this point. A lot of these really good teams, like Cleveland Cavaliers, are getting ready for the playoffs. They're not really focused in on the Spurs. It's one of those games where they're like, yeah, we'll win it, get out of here. And then the Spurs take them by surprise. And, it's when we're actually winning. And you guys recall, like, when we were the Spurs, right? Because we're not the Spurs yet. We're the Spurs, but we're not the Spurs. You know what I mean? Like, when we were the Spurs, every single game was tough. Every single game was tough because every team wanted to play the best. They wanted to play their best against the best, right? They were really locked in, and they want to focus in and beat you. Because if they beat you, then that says something about their squad. It says something about the direction they're going in. And also, the Spurs were also a team that ended up on TV quite often, right? And not because of us. I don't think it's because the NBA like loved us or anything, but because we were such a challenge for other teams. If the Knicks go against Spurs, okay, we're going to put that on. Lakers go against Spurs, we're going to put that on, because they know it's going to be a tough game. They know either the Spurs are going to whoop on them or it's going to be a tough 4 quarters. And we don't really have that right now. And I think that a lot of teams that are playing the Spurs aren't really aware of our play style, or not our play style, but not aware of players' tendencies, right? Like they don't go into games worried about Julian Champagny, right? They don't go into games worried about Mamu. The rap sheet on those guys are going to be very short. They're not really worried about Castle, right? They're just not. Devin Vassell probably has a pretty long one where they have to really focus in on what he does well, but it's not that many guys. So yeah, that's what I think he's going at. That's where I think he's getting at, because we're not the Spurs. You know what I mean? The beautiful game. Yeah, it's we're not the Spurs. We'll get there. And we'll be a team that everyone wants to make an example out of. But that's not us right now. Every single game, the Spurs, before like 2018, before 2019-ish that they played, every single game has been tougher than any game in the Wemby era thus far. Every single game was tougher than this. Only because we had to be on our game. Even if we blow out a team, it was going to be a tougher one because that team is going to play harder than they might play against this current San Antonio Spurs team. That might be too big of a stretch, what I just said. I mean, that might be too big of a stretch because the Spurs have had some pretty tough competition, but they don't really know what to expect going into these games against us, and I don't think they play as hard until the second half.
You can do all you want to without, you still got to play the games, but it's a totally different game when you get Fox, when you get Vic, you know what I mean? And there's a different type of purpose that you play with also when you are a playoff team and you try.
Yes, see what I'm saying? He's completely right. Hold on. Just listen to that one more time.
You can do all, these games are all good and well, but this isn't sort of the real NBA. Seriously, like you can do all you want to without, you still got to play the games, but it's a totally different game when you get Fox, when you get Vic, you know what I mean? And there's a different type of purpose that you play with also.
Teams play harder. Other teams play harder.
You are a playoff team and you're trying to, fight and get ready for that. So that's probably what I hoped and looked for most going into this season is to have our guys get a chance to play really meaningful games. And I know it's coming in the future for these guys. So, yeah, it's good and well when guys scoring and doing all that in these games. But, when Vic and Fox get out there, that's when you got to figure out how you going to get in where you fit in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, personnel matters a lot. I think Wemby does put a target on our back. But yeah, when the Spurs are a playoff team, and you want to make an example, go and look at any Boston Celtics game this season or a Cleveland Cavaliers game this season. These teams don't go in there not ready to play them. They just get outplayed. They don't go in half-heartedly. They're we're playing the Celtics today. I don't know if it's really been that vibe. We're playing the Spurs today. It's been we're playing Wemby, but we just got to make sure Wemby don't beat us. It hasn't been the San Antonio Spurs. They're a problem. You don't have that respectful fear. It used to be a respect. They feared us out of respect. Lakers players, even with Kobe, he feared us, but with respect.
Blake has told me that you've talked to him about how to use his speed and somehow how to not use his speed.
Yeah.
What does that look like to you in a perfect world?
Clan, I really felt like getting KD was not worth it, but if we gave up Vassell and Barnes and maybe a few picks, not Atlanta, is it worth it? I don't think so. While KD is a better player than Vassell, obviously, and Barnes, obviously, Vassell, he has a really great contract. You can keep him for quite a while. Like, you would have him for a long time if you were to hold on to him. And you can also have another season go by, and Vassell's contract is still great if you still want to trade him after that. KD, it's just, the only thing that worries me is it's such a short window for success, and you will have to, it's inevitable that you'll have to give up, at least I'm assuming it's inevitable, that you'll have to give up quite a bit of your future for him. And that makes me a little worried, right? Like, that makes me a little worried, because it literally, the window might just be a couple seasons. And I'm not saying make the playoffs, because I think the Spurs can make the playoffs without KD. I think championship would have to be on your mind if you go get Kevin Durant, right? Like, I don't want to make all these moves just so we can have a guy, win a series in the playoffs, but have a guy for Wemby to learn off of. Like, I think that's overkill, So it really just depends on what you get or what you have to give up. And I don't know if we'll be able to just finesse the Suns, but I don't know. We finessed everybody else. Nah, KD is too expensive and too old. He's not the way to build a dynasty. Yeah, like Fox was a player where you gave up basically nothing, and he's also a long-term point guard for us. Like, he's not like it's not this short window with Fox. I can very well see the Spurs have Fox for maybe 6 seasons, right? Like, at that point, you should be a championship team, and at that point, that would have been many years of helping Castle, right? And helping any of the other young guys that come to the team. So you're really creating a good foundation. You get KD, you just got a few seasons. Like, I don't think it's worth it. And also, I don't think the Spurs have, we went over this before, but I don't think they have the same amount of leverage they did with Fox, because with Fox, his destination was the San Antonio Spurs. With KD, his destination is the Spurs and also 4 or 5 different teams. So, it's just not the same. I'm assuming you're going to have to give up more. Too much competition to get KD.
Yeah, tonight he was very assertive and, just calling a play and then breaking it off, and going. And I think as a point guard, you're always trying to find that balance between being aggressive and scoring and finding guys. But Blake, the way he plays when he plays is contagious, right? Because he's a two-way player. He defends.
The fact that Blake Wesley has not been getting... So we always bring up Keldon Johnson and his amount of energy that he brings. No one ever brings up the amount of energy Blake Wesley brings. Well, I guess number one, because he barely gets to play. But the type of energy he brings is actually super impactful because he's such a good defender. Blake had a rough night tonight. Well, Blake Wesley always, he's not the most smooth offensive player in the world, but defensively, he's a monster, bro. This is why I didn't understand him not getting any minutes whatsoever. He always deserved some minutes. Give some guys a break, and you're not gonna lose that much defensively, maybe none at all, by playing him. He can be out there for a few minutes. I don't understand that. Him not playing, it was too many DNPs this season. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. He was streaky tonight. Streaky, sure, but he shouldn't have as many DNPs as he has this season.
Since he plays hard, and when you got somebody who defends like that, you're going to live and die with any issues, any turnovers or anything like that. So I just love how hard he plays, and it's been great to get a chance to see him play.
Is there a secret to him?
He's humble as well. Back in college, he took over the point guard position, and I remember reading an article. We went over it, and he felt kind of weird about it. Like, Blake Wesley felt weird about it, and because the other person that was the point guard was a point guard there for a while at that point. But he ended up helping him through it and everything, and he was, he took on that position, but he actually was a little weirded out by it, He didn't go in like, oh, yeah, I deserve this. It wasn't like that, like DeJounte did with the Spurs.
Becoming a better finisher?
Just more reps and confidence in playing. I told him one time I think he's put a lot of onus on his shot, which he's getting better and better at shooting, but his speed is his weapon. So if he continues to get in the lane and get different finishes, floaters, whatever, now you become so hard to guard because, he's such a great player.
Thanks,
Since
Steve.
you-
You gotta get AC in your.
Since you mentioned the future, since you mentioned the future, I think most of us read Mark Spear's piece in Anscape, in which you sort of hinted strongly that you want to come back and play again.
Yeah, I don't even remember when I did that interview. That was a while ago. I think we was in Sacramento, whenever that was. I think the biggest thing is I'll evaluate after the season once I talk to my family. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it. He don't know. He got to talk to his folks. He's going to do it. He's probably going to play again. Every year he talks to his family. He's like, yeah, I'm going to play again. So that's probably what happened, right? More than likely. But yeah, so good stuff. Good stuff. Chris Paul, we can say a lot about him, but he is insightful. We can't take that away from him. He always gives us something, right? Always gives us a nugget of something to go off of. So good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it.